ECAfrica100, connecting entrepreneurs on the African continent and beyond. Profiling 100 entrepreneurs in 100 days. Tune in as we amplify African excellence with your host, Vanessa Perumal, on Africa Business Radio.
Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of ECAfrica100. My name is Vanessa Perumal. At Vanessa Perumal is where you'll find me on my social media pages. And we are coming to you on a podcast set up for us by Africa Business Radio. I'm really excited to have an author, a trainer, a coach, all the way from the Eastern Cape, the motherland of our beloved Nelson Mandela, and a number of our stalwarts in South Africa. Welcome to EC Africa, Liziwe.
Thank you, Vanessa, for welcoming me.
Tell us what you do and how you find yourself on this chair, and maybe tell us your surname also, please.
Okay. My name is Liziwe Ntshengulana. My company is Aurora Life Coaching and Mentoring. I also write books and I'm busy with other books. I find myself on this channel because I was introduced by Miss Uganda Maharaj to Vanessa. And then I found out from a journey that we started in 2016 that our continued relationship continue to stand. So that's why I'm here today, to support the program and also have a space for myself.
So the thing is, as you take your pens out and you take notes in this masterclass, Liziwe and I had met before. We did some public relations and PR for her when she wrote her book. But the thing is, when we started doing the story of the book and the team members we brought in, Liziwe, as you coach and as we do business, sometimes we need to read into what our clients are saying. Do you find this with coaching?
Yes, I find it with coaching.
Tell us about the specific coaching you do.
Okay, my life coaching is packaged as 5 R's because what I do, I deal with the relationships, because I find that most of the time people have got relationships with money, a relationship with themselves, a relationship with others, and also a relationship with the creator. So that's what I do. I help people to go across those relationships so that they can get the most.
So it's the relationships and it's the 5 R's. And the reason I wish you could be in studio, Liziwe exudes peace and calm, and a quality that is not often found in many people. You almost want to sit back and listen. In dealing with your coaching for entrepreneurs, Liziwe, how important is your coaching functionality to the well-being of entrepreneurship, or does it fill a gap?
It does fill a gap, because one of the problems that entrepreneurs usually encounter is the identity crisis. Because the moment we have got a problem with your identity, then it's not easy to fit in any other place, because you continue looking for identity in other people.
What is identity crisis?
Identity crisis is where you don't know who you are and you're trying to emulate every other person that you meet, and then you're trying to do everything that the other people are doing, and then you can't find your niche in whatever it is that you're doing.
And I often suffer with this myself in a social media age. If somebody doesn't like my photo on Instagram, I take it so personally. Is this an identity crisis?
Yes, an identity crisis.
Oh my God.
It's an identity crisis. Because you shouldn't mind what people are talking about you if you know who you are.
Do you get offended?
I used to get offended until I discovered that I should take myself off the display, because most of the time we are on display, and then when you're on display you get criticized by all other people, and then you mind when you don't know who you are.
So how do we inculcate a business sense, because this is so much a business show? Can you help us in this masterclass to master the mind so that we then not take it so personally?
Yes.
And we move on to what's important?
Okay, in order for us to stop minding what other people are doing or talking about in our businesses, we must be sure of who we are. Because once you know that you are uniquely created and that you occupy a special space in the universe, and then you know that God created you for a purpose, and then that purpose is not similar to any other person's purpose, and then you understand that you are here.
So identity and spirituality are interlinked.
They go together. You can't separate the two, because we get our identity from the Creator.
In East Africa, we're talking how the robots arrived, and people were talking about the emotional well-being. Is this what you deal with?
I deal with emotional being because I believe that people are more than robots. Robots can never take the place of people.
Okay, then why did you write the book, and tell me something about the book?
Okay, the book that I wrote is The World Upside Down. So the reason
That's
I wrote the book, The World Upside Down, is because I said that God creates us to do a certain work. And the way I put it is that if God sends you to wake a woman and then you go and wake a man, you have not done a good job, because you don't have the tools to wake the man when you are sent to wake the woman. So that is one of the reasons we've got problems with our businesses.
So we turned upside down. How do we balance ourselves out of the upside down?
In order for us to balance, we've got to embrace who we are and embrace the purpose that God created us for, because our purpose comes with provision and protection.
Our purpose comes with purpose and provision.
So the moment you tap to your purpose, you find also that when you tap to your purpose, the world becomes your office. You are not essentially put to work in an office. You work all over the world. Because
now that is powerful. Can you please say that to me again? When we tapped into purpose, the world becomes our office.
Yes.
But are we redeemable? Then you talk of ours. We're constantly fighting and we're battling and we're hustling and we're trying to innovate into a space that makes us relevant. How do we find that, Liziwe?
Okay, one of the things that we should do as people created with a purpose, we are created with a purpose to collaborate. So the moment we don't know who we are, we compete and kill the competition. And we should be complementing one another in whatever way that we are working. So we've got to find a space by finding ourselves, because we are siblings, in fact, because God created all of us. So as siblings, we shouldn't be fighting among ourselves, because each and every one of us has got a space that has been created special for him by God.
When you're problem solving and coaching, what are the top 3 or 4 problems that you find entrepreneurs commonly have as a constant?
One of the most problems that I find, especially in my era, is that people, when they are BEs, they think they are entrepreneurs. And then when they...
What is BE?
BE, those black business.
So in South Africa, we have, it's called, because of apartheid, we have a legislation called triple BEE. And so some people feel more privileged because they know people.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, you're saying what was the first problem? Sorry.
And then so the problem that they have is that they are entitled, that entitlement mentality. So it causes them to depend on other people for whatever they want to achieve. So now that does not give them a firm foundation on which to stand, because an entrepreneur should stand on a firm foundation. Then you find that those are the problems that we encounter. And one other problem that we encounter are our kids. Our kids are so entitled. They don't have to work it out for themselves. And one of the things that causes that is the curriculum that they are given at school, the curriculums that they go through at school. They don't help them with the life outside there, because what is taught at school is totally different from what they encounter when they're out in the world.
So our curriculum from base has to be re-looked at.
Very much so.
So to empower a family well-being, a good child into a good citizen.
Yes, because what I usually like is that we must create a legacy. We must teach our kids to create a legacy. We must teach our families to create a legacy. Because
Now, how do we... sorry, go on.
Because the moment you create a legacy, when you get old, you get to be helped by your kids. And then the legacy goes on and on and on.
I'm so intrigued at this conversation. How do you think with your teaching tools that you can teach us more? And where do we find it? Is it in the books we read? Is it the people we meet? And what is the link between our well-being and our business's well-being?
Most of the information that grows us and develops us, you find from books. There are some very, very good people who have written books. For example, I read after Deepak Chopra. So Deepak Chopra deals especially with the spiritual part of our lives. So the moment you try to find yourself, you find people who are going to help you develop. And then regarding the business and your growth, your business must be your passion, because the moment you find your passion, then you find your business.
I feel like your postcards that we're going to write after this interview, your business must find your passion.
Yes, you must find your passion.
You must find your passion, your business will find you.
Yes. Because whatever you do passionately, you do every day. And then if you do it every day, you become better and better.
So where do you enterprise? In the Eastern Cape? Do you fly around the country? How do people find you?
I'm stationed in the Eastern Cape. People can find me through my Facebook page, because I share some interesting stories in fact, some articles in the Facebook page. People can also find me on my contact number, which is 072-881-4761. I'm still repairing my website, which is www.auroracm.co.za.
www.aurora.cm.za. I'm encouraged by the lessons you've taught us and the ability to be able to silence the noise. and to take stock of where we are. I also want to know, before we leave the show, please, what are your concerns about unemployment right now, whether it's in South Africa or the continent, and how would you solve them?
My concern about employment is that people are getting out of universities, having their degrees, but they don't get employment. But if they got a curriculum in school that made them entrepreneurs, that wouldn't be a problem. So in order for us to solve the problem of employment, I think we've got to take people back to basics. Who are you and what are your passions? Because sometimes when you find your passion, you find your purpose. And then because God supports your purpose, then you take it from there, growing your faith to find what you desire.
I also want to say you need to be relevant to the time of where you are and find work. But what inspires you, Liziwe?
I am inspired by my 3 children with whom we talk very much about inspirational things. I am also inspired by all the inspirational authors like Deepak Chopra or Greg Baden, all those things which we talk about those things that are beyond our understanding of the brain. So I'm also inspired by people who never stop, who don't give up, like Vanessa, Ibo Ugandri. Those are the people who inspire me because they teach me to keep on going forever and ever, never to stop.
I'm excited about this interview because you teach us to be able to calm down. I'm inspired that you allow our brain thinking to internalize. And I'm inspired that we can be mentored and coached by people like you. What do you think of a platform like EC Africa?
It's a great platform because we find that people don't understand that there is a difference between remembering and thinking. So such a great platform allows people to tap into their minds, because once you tap into your mind and not your brain, you get to introduce yourself to yourself so that you can be whatever God intended you to be. So it's a great platform. I would like people to embrace it and use it for the growth of their real entrepreneurs in Africa.
Thank you for joining us on the show, Liziwe. I'm so touched that you came through. And I want to tell my friends about your coaching. Tell them to find you on Facebook, read your posts. And also that you find your passion and your purpose will come is a lesson I will learn. Thank you for teaching us that mentoring is important and listening to kinds of business purposes. And I suppose if you're anywhere in the continent, with all the different podcasts we've been loading down and listening to, this one has a very calming effect. So I want to thank you, Liziwe. Lovely to have you on the show. ECAfrica100 is where we're at. My name is Vanessa Puma.
You've been listening to EC Africa 100 on Africa Business Radio. Join the conversation. #ECAfrica100.